everybody, how's it going? Pancheezey here coming at you with Dragon Star's entire 4th wave review. Let's go! Alright you guys, we're back here again with another full wave review. The first one was a little successful from out of nowhere. So I figured, I'm going to try my hardest to go ahead and find the 4th wave and get the review out to you guys as fast as possible. And not better timing. Day after my birthday, late birthday gift from me to me. Thanks me, I love myself, so here we go. In this wave, we have Super Saiyan Rose, Goku Black, we have Zamasu, and we have Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. Interestingly enough, quick side note, they just went with Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta and not Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Vegeta like they did with Goku in the wave before. Good on you. Dragon Stars, what do I even call you, Bandai? I don't know. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. Okay, here we have Vegeta out of the box, and first impressions, he looks pretty good. He's donning his revival of F movie / arc type of, what are my hands doing? Outfit going on right here. Looks pretty good. The paint apps are pretty nice on the outfit right here. Everything that should be metallic is pretty metallic, which is a really nice choice. His armor right here, nice sheen. His boots right here, nice sheen as well. And his hair up here. Pretty nice sheen going on. Pretty good use of metallic paint all around. The sculpt on his armor looks really, really nice, as well as the sculpt on his clothes, his cloth, the piping going on in his upper and lower type of deals, especially back here, looks pretty good too. All in all, in terms of artist direction, he looks good, albeit his face looks pretty off model, I'm not gonna lie. This doesn't really look like Vegeta. I don't know what it is about this guy's face, but I don't know. I mean, he gets the job done. Let's not lie. I mean, obviously, you look at this guy and you go, oh, that's Vegeta. But in terms of other articulated options, this probably looks the most off-model Vegeta that we have at the moment, unfortunately. But let's go ahead and just head on right into articulation. So we got pretty much a standard Dragon Stars fare going on right here. The head, virtually nothing in terms of looking up and down. Let's just not even... Yeah, let's not even expect it at this point, honestly. But you can go all the way around, pretty nice. His arms do have a full 360 range of motion. I will say the joints feel a lot tighter. You get kind of a more ratchety type of joint technology going on in here. Now that could just be that the joints are newer in this-ish, not necessarily new technology, but it is a newer figure, so they might be tighter. And they just could be using the same technology as the older. I'm not an expert. Obviously, I don't work at the factory, so I wouldn't know anything. I'm just a dude on YouTube. What do I know? Anyway, so they got, it can go full 360 right here. It can go up this much. Pretty nice. And then you can get it going up this much and doing all this junk right here. It does have a bicep swivel going on right here. You can do a full 360, of course. You got double jointed elbows in the mix. Got a very nice range of motion, well beyond 90 degrees going on right here. Really showing off. And then the hands are on a ball joint, as well as a little hinge right here. You get some pretty nice poses. In terms of ab articulation, you can't really call it an ab crunch. It doesn't even exist on this figure, unfortunately. But you can go all the way around, and there is just like his neck, dude. There is virtually nothing there in terms of going up and down, which is unfortunate. When it comes to his legs down here, you can get him kicking up this much, very similar to other Vegeta molds as well as other molds in the Dragon Star line. Going back, you can go a little bit back like that. Of course, when they are moving up and down or back and front, they kind of like veer off. You know, you can't get him going straight. So his knee is always going to be pointing like a little wonky. He looks freaking weird right now, so who knows. Coming down to his knee, it is on a double joint, albeit it does go a little bit beyond 90 degrees, which is pretty good, but the mold does hinder that articulation just a little bit. You know, this guy's been hitting the gym, his squats are off the charts, his thighs are so huge, Jesus Christ. Anyway, when it comes to the boot, there is no shin swivel, is that what you call it? I don't know. But going down to his foot, it can go all the way around. It seems to be on a ball joint, like a peg type of deal, and because of the mold right here, the sculpt, it pretty much is doing no favors for the boot articulation in terms of pivot and all that stuff, unfortunately, but you get a little bit there. I don't know, man, what can I say? When it comes to these types of figures of Dragon Stars line, man, like I said in my other review for Wave 3, these are 20 bucks, dog. Let me tell you. I mean, I'm not expecting the world, but for what we get, it is definitely worth the value in terms of this Vegeta alone. You know, this isn't half bad. You know, what am I gonna say? You know, for $20, beggars can't be choosers. Obviously not saying you're a beggar for going with a $20 figure. I bought this. I beg to no one, so. In terms of accessories, he doesn't really come with much. He comes with 2 fists on the figure already, and then he does come with 2 blasting hands. Whoops. 2 blasting hands going on right here. So let's move on to the next one. Alright everybody, next up on the table we have Super Saiyan Rose, Goku Black in the mix, coming at you, and first impressions is he looks pretty good. Once again, just like the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta we saw earlier, his hair has a metallic sheen to it, and it works really well. His face sculpt also is pretty good. It looks pretty on model, I'm not gonna lie. The expression he has, very Goku Black, like a weird, evil, psychotic, you know, borderline ex-girlfriend type of smile going on. And, you know, for the rest of him, he looks good too. I like his, like, bodysuit mold underneath his regular loose gi going on right there. I like the small details, like how he has the ring on that finger. They could have easily went SH Figure Arts Vegeta route here and put the fingernails on the mold. What were they thinking, boys? Anyway, but they really paid attention to some of the smaller details, and it really shows. In terms of accessories, he comes with 2 grabby hands right here, as well as the Play School version of his of his energy sword right here. Like, come on, man. Just give us some pointed edges on these figures. Just trust us. Come on. What are you doing? Anyway, moving on to articulation. We actually have some surprises right here. So, in terms of up and down, yeah, his neck really isn't doing that much, although you'll notice there is a little glimmer of hope here, because as you can see down here, his neck is a separate joint, and you know, it does offer a little bit more side-to-side motion, but unfortunately not any up and down motion. But they're heading in the right direction with this. The neck being a whole separate piece and not just being part of the torso is the direction they need to be moving in with these figures if they want to maximize the amount of articulation you can get out of them. Moving on to the shoulders, same thing with the Goku. Once again, we have separate full sleeves in the mix. Always impressive right here. You can get a full rotation going on with them. You got a nice bicep swivel going on right here. Moving on to the elbow, we got a super nice double elbow joint crunch going on right here. Arguably one of the best in the line in terms of range of articulation, but in terms of design and mold design, not really that great. Kind of reminds me of like really old Play Arts Kai, honestly. But if you finagle some angles, you know, trademark that real quick, you can get it looking pretty nice. Like right here, I could care less about the way the joint looks right here. The pose is there, so it looks good. When it comes to the hand, pretty standard fare on a hinge / ball joint right here. Get some good movement. Moving on to the legs, unfortunately there is a little bit of hindered articulation, but thankfully the skirt itself is made from a malleable plastic, so it's as simple as oh my god, we got a pattern forming here, ladies and gentlemen. Jeez Louise. All right.
Brother, this guy stinks!
Anyway, as I was saying, it's as simple as just moving it into the position and the malleable plastic takes over and you're able to, you know, get whatever pose you want. Once again, the knees, like getting them into these positions, the knees kind of like just bend away, like a simple Jesus Christ. A simple thigh swivel up here would have definitely taken care of that, but you know, let's add this to our list of suggestions and wants and needs for this line. Going down to the knees, you get a nice double joint right here. Get a really nice crunch, way further than 90 degrees, so you get some nice posability going on right there. Moving down to his feet, full rotation. You get a little bit of a pivot as well. So what can I say in terms of this figure ravioli? What do I think of the figuroli? Dumb. So all in all, I think the figure is good. Like, he has a really nice slim design, so even this pose right here looks pretty menacing and pretty good. I really like the overall like muscular definition and silhouette we get with this figure. It looks really good. In terms of the price point, I know I'm a broken record in saying this all the time, but I gotta remind people, for a $20 figure, it is looking really good for this line standards. Not just like this, your boy Vegeta right here doesn't necessarily hold a candle to their SH Figuarts counterparts, but for this review's sake, they're definitely out of the picture. So in terms of just straight up just being a figure, a rose like Goku Black figure, it's good. So if you see it, whatever, pick them up, I don't know. And finally, last, and definitely last in this review, because I know you guys are savages, and if I would have put this guy in the front of my review, you just would have stopped watching after this was done. I know how the game works, because I'm one of you again. And certainly not least is Zamasu looking right here. Yo! Once again, just like the previous review, I reviewed Hit Last, but just like that, this Zamasu, star of the line, not gonna lie. And that's not just me saying that because we don't have a proper Zamasu SH Figuarts. Okay, maybe a little bit, that's why I'm saying it, but it definitely does stand on its own. Not gonna mince words. Anyway, so here we have Zamasu looking pretty good. Color scheme is pretty on point. I am not gonna lie, when I saw the preview for this guy, this Pickle Rick looking dude, I was scared, but thankfully they went ahead and they fixed everything and got his skin tone right and everything, and he looks good. He comes with 2 fists as well as 2 grabby hands right here, and he does come with a third, not set, but a third hand. You got the little boom, the boy hand going on right here, coming at you. Really nice. I would really like to see Dragon Stars go ahead and branch out with more hands, and maybe if we're lucky, more faces. But this is a step in the right direction. Next up, we got another energy sword right here. Milton Bradley Play School energy sword right here. A little bit different from the Goku Black sword. Looks like they use a lot lighter, a lot darker purple, and they don't have the white accent mark down here. So moving on to articulation, let's take a look at this guy right here. So once again, the head, not really winning any awards here, gets some movement. You can get him looking down just a little bit, but not much. So let's just go ahead and say it's not even there. When it comes to arm articulation, this one you do start to see a little bit of the hindrance right here. So because of his upper body mold, it does hinder getting that arm going all the way up. I don't know what this little pose was, but this is about as far as you can get his arm going up. I wish they would have incorporated some sort of hinge or some sort of articulation in the shoulder pads, but I wasn't really expecting it. I just hope it. Anyway, moving on, you do get the bicep swivel, of course. You get double jointed elbows going right here. Nice crunch, not as good as Goku Black, but we're getting there, boys. And then right here we have a standard ball joint and hinge hands. Now, when it comes down, let's get his arm back down, Jesus Christ. So when it comes down to his legs, unfortunately, right out of the box, there's not that many options because of the way his mold is made. You don't get a lot of range. Now, it is a softer plastic, so you can bend this up and move the legs like this, and you get it back going just 90 degrees, depending on how much you want to bend this plastic right here. But in terms of lifting his leg up this way, it's not gonna happen, unfortunately. Now, they do give you a little bit going on right here. They cut it just a little bit. I see their mind is in the right spot, but it just isn't enough to go ahead and get any kind of posability out of it. Now, if you want to go ahead and do some surgery and take this cut and bring it all the way up to his belt, maybe that'll do a little bit more to you. And if you want to go ahead and take another cut and put it right here, that'll definitely give you a little bit more range of movement. But in terms of being right out of the box and right out of the package, there's not that much movement in terms of putting his legs up this high. So going down to the feet, it's full 360 as well as just a little bit of a pivot and some movement as well, and you can't get him going like just this little guy just like, hey, what's up? Anyway, this Zamasu is looking good. I really like the sculpt. I mean, the sculpt is spot on, dude. The paint apps are pretty good. It's just a lot of like molded, and it's just molded in that color. The paint apps for this, mine is a little wonky when you get over here. It's more black. It's just a little darker, but I can just go over it with some other paint. His face is looking really good. Just like I said earlier, that Pickle Rick preview, I wasn't feeling that in the slightest. Thank God they fixed it. But his hair sculpt is also really nice as well. You don't really get that kind of banana type of look that you got with like Trunks and stuff like that, and you don't really miss that it's like it's not super spiky, because it looks really good right here. And in terms of his face, the paint apps on his eyes look really good. The mold, he does kind of have, like at certain angles, like in his cheek right there, he's kind of got like old man face a little bit, maybe. I don't know, maybe that's just me. But in terms of like overall design and just his silhouette looks really good. Just like overall, in terms of a placeholder for a Zamasu, I'm liking it. I'm digging it. Just like with the hit, like I said earlier, this is the standout. This is the star of the line. Once again, not the only figure in this wave that doesn't have an SH Figuarts counterpart, and it's looking pretty good. Of course, articulation isn't there. The mold really does hinder it a lot, as well as the lack of some key articulation spots, being like the neck, like an ab crunch, a thigh swivel, and stuff like that. But for what we got, it's looking good. And once again, at $20, I wouldn't pass it up. You know, honestly, I wouldn't. If I saw this in the store and I was a fan of Dragon Ball Super, I was a fan of the character, and if you're just a fan of completing teams and arcs, you know, definitely give him, like, pick him up, dude, for real. This guy is looking pretty good, not gonna lie. And last, but certainly not least, we have the culmination of the last wave, and this, something I've been waiting personally a couple of months to complete. We have the completed BAF right here for the last two lines. Well, technically, this is one line. This is basically wave 2, but since they split the first half of the wave and the second half of the wave, it's 3 and 4. I don't know what I'm saying. But we have merged Zamasu right here, contaminated Zamasu, basically half Goku Black, half Zamasu, half mortal, half immortal, switch that around, Zamasu going on right here, and he looks really good, dude. Like I said in the last review, when I assembled half of him, his face sculpt is looking good. The paint apps are very, very sharp. He is just a good looking figure. I mean, he's nice. Now, that's not to say there aren't any complaints, because there are definitely complaints. Trust me, with this line, there's definitely room to complain, not gonna lie. But for the first character BAF from the Dragon Stars line, the first one being Shenron, like just a static Shenron figure, this is a good start. Like, it's a really nice character. It's in theme with the wave, and it looks good, and he's a great BAF. Now, moving on to articulation, where most of my grievances will come from. His head, of course, not much, just 360 around, not much up and down. Just like with regular Zamasu right here, the mold for his like shoulder pad right here hinders a lot of the articulation for his other arm up here. Standard fare just with the other Zamasu, we got a bicep swivel right here, as well as a double jointed elbow. Not as much range as some of the other ones, unfortunately, and he comes with just one hand. But if you want to go ahead and swap it out with regular Zamasu hands, you can go right ahead. I mean, it'll work. So that's a nice thought, whether intentional or not. It's cool that you can switch his hands out with regular Zamasu. Now, moving on to this arm, you can kind of see like that ball joint going on right here, and this just pops right into there, and because of that, since it's on a hinge right here, you can get a little bit of movement, just like I mentioned with that Vegeta earlier on in the review. He does have a double jointed elbow, although it is kind of in vain because the sculpt really hinders that articulation, but you can get more than 90 degrees on here, albeit just a little bit, maybe a degree or two. I don't know. And then, unfortunately, there is no wrist articulation at all. I can't remember the last time I got a figure that didn't have wrist articulation. So moving on down to the legs, just like with regular Zamasu, this thing's a Fabergé egg. Just like with regular Zamasu right here, if you want to go ahead and mold and like kind of squish his skirt right here, you can take advantage of some of that articulation. He does, his legs are a little loose. You get kind of a little bit of the Jimmy legs going on right here, unfortunately. When it comes to foot articulation, you get standard fare for this guy, and that pretty much wraps it up in terms of articulation for this BAF. Now, like I said earlier, for their first foray into a character BAF, it's looking pretty good. A lot of that is coming from the fact that he doesn't have a better articulated counterpart, but for what we have right here, it's looking good. Now, do you necessarily want to sink upwards to $120 just to build this BAF? That's definitely up to you. Especially if you don't want any of the characters in the line and you just want to build this merge Zamasu, I'd pretty much just say pump the brakes, hold on and wait for another line to do it, whether it be Figure-Eyes or SH Figuarts. If you just want to buy all the figures just to build this BAF and you want to do articulated stuff like posability, photography, stuff like that, I'd say wait. But if you like all the characters in the line, you're picking these boys up anyway, and as an extra bonus, you can go ahead and you can build yourself a merge Zamasu. He's definitely worth it. He's a pretty good placeholder in terms of not having an SH Figuarts counterpart, and I'm pretty pleased with the way it came out. Alright, so along with a size comparison comparing to Figure-Eyes, SH Figuarts, and a Rando Marvel Legend, here's my final thoughts, my closing thoughts on this wave. This is definitely the standout wave so far. This is the best one. Now, what I would like to think is they are learning wave by wave what consumers want, how far they can push their budget in terms of what they can pack into this, how they can move money around in terms of articulation, sculpt, paint, stuff like that. I feel like they're getting better when it comes to this line. So this wave, the second half of wave 2 or the fourth wave, whatever you want to call it, is a home run in my opinion. At $20 a pop, this Vegeta and this Goku Black are worthy contenders in terms of the price point to Figuarts, but there's nowhere right now that you can get a Zamasu or a merge Zamasu, and I think for that alone, this is definitely pound for pound one of the better, you know, non-SH Figuarts articulated lines. I mean, there's only 2. What am I talking about? So yeah, the bottom line is it's a good wave. If you see these out there in the wild, boys, pick them up. I don't know. I was gonna say you won't be disappointed, but I'm not you, so I wouldn't know. Anyway, as always, thank you guys so much for watching my video. Thank you guys for always continuing to support my content, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.